Hey there, it's me, Julie. I'm just finished recording a couple of videos that will be coming out soon, and it really got me thinking about yoga um, and the brand of yoga. So branding being what people think of when they hear the word yoga. And so I wanted to just have a little mat chat. I'm next to my mat. It's right here. There you go. Have a little chat on my mat about yoga and what it is and what it isn't. Because I think so often it gets confused, and the more we can unconfuse, I think the better off everybody will be. So the first, I would say, like, misunderstanding that often comes up when people talk about yoga, it's like I'll hear somebody say, "Oh, I do Pilates," or "Nah, I do bar." Like, I always say Pilates and bar because I like both of them. Or, I already have another fitness thing that I do, and so I'm going to dispel that idea first, because yoga is not fitness. What? Yoga's not fitness. It's really easy to put it in that bucket because you're moving your body when you are doing yoga. But yoga is not fitness. And it's really important to understand that, because when you see that it is not fitness, you can still have a fitness practice, and you can still also do yoga. So let me give you an example of that. So, like, I keep using the example of running because I'm running now and it's current and relevant to me. So it's helpful for me to use it as an example. So I started running, and I've run in the past and done some stretching on the side. And that was fine. That was years ago. It was 10 years ago. But I've never been a yogi that has run. And I can't tell you how much different adding a new modality, like any kind of fitness modality, is when you have a regular yoga practice. So one, yoga helps you recover faster. So that's a really great reason to be doing yoga, regardless of what other fitness you're doing. And when you recover faster, you can build strength faster and better, and have like better connections. So denser muscles, like stronger muscles. When you practice yoga and you're doing another fitness modality, you have more mental, like, you have a better connection to your brain space. And as a result, you are more able to know yourself. And so that's really important, because then you know yourself when you can push, and you know yourself enough to know when to go, like, to take it down a notch. Really important. Both things super, super important. When you have a yoga practice and you are in fitness, one last thing is, I would say, you're able to understand why you're doing what you're doing. I'm running for a lot of reasons, but I've never really understood why, which I think was the reason that I never took it very seriously and never did it regularly, because I didn't have a reason why. I didn't have this is why I'm doing this. But now, as a yogi who's doing another fitness modality, I have a purpose behind it. And with purpose, it's like all the objections, all the suffering that comes from, like, oh, I should do this, I don't want to do this, I should do this, I don't want to do, that's all gone. Because it's like, I can just say, man, I really want to go for a run today, and I'm going to go for a run. Or I really want to go for a run today, but, like, my body's just not feeling it. I really want to go, or I don't want to run today. And, like, all of those things, like, with yoga as the support, allow me to just say, cool, I'm not going to do it. Or, yeah, I'll do it. And all of that is to say that, like, in the 3 weeks that I've been a runner, I don't even know if I count as a runner if I've only been doing it for 3 weeks, but my time has improved. My pacing has improved by minutes, 4 minutes actually, in 3 weeks, which is insane. That is an insane amount of pacing for me to go from nothing to that. And it is 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes. So that is absolutely a testament to the fact that I have this yoga practice that I do. And, like, And then I take that lens and bring it into the fitness that I'm doing. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about yoga, like the brand. So branding being, like if you were to think of a brand that's popular that you know about, like you have McDonald's is a great brand because we all know about it. And so we can all think different things about it, but there's generally like some consistent thoughts on what it is. It's fast food, it's cheap food, it's not healthy food. So like those are all things that we can all agree on. Like I don't go there to say like, oh, I'm going to get something healthy for myself. I'm going to go to McDonald's, right? We all know that. Doesn't mean that like that's just what it is. When you think about yoga, I think a lot of different people have different ideas about what yoga is. And that is in part because it is a lot of different things. But it's also because I think in general, yoga just doesn't have good branding. I think in general, like branding being like, if you don't say what something is, then people are going to make up their own ideas about what it is. And I know for me, I haven't known what yoga is because it's been so many different things for me. And I'm just now, I think, having the space and the practice to be able to let yoga be, to understand and to like to get to know the yoga for me right now. And so I can tell you what yoga is here. And I think that that's the most important part because yoga is going to be different if you go to any other studio. But here, there's really 4 pillars. This kind of came to me this morning, which is why I'm like recording and like making sure I get it down now so I can write notes for later. Yoga really has like 4 pillars to me. The first is the self. So self being my relationship with myself, my awareness of myself, my relationship with myself. Where does that show up? Gosh, like that in itself could be just like a course, like weeks of a course, lifetime. But self is really like just knowing yourself. So like for me, again, with the earlier example with when I go for a run or when I want to go for a run, but like my body's not up for it, that's knowing myself. Well, I know I could go for a run, but this is really not the best thing for me. And I know that it's only going to create problems for me later. So I'm just going to wait and I'll wait till tomorrow and hopefully it'll be better then. Knowing oneself is also like when you are being challenged. And so this is, again, now we're not talking about movement at all. There's another epiphany I've had recently, but I'll keep to this for now. Knowing yourself enough to say, this is right for me, this isn't right for me. That thing that, like knowing yourself enough to say, I'm going to need to respond to the situation and I want to make sure that I'm responding in the way that is like the most integrity to myself. That's yoga. I know it's weird because it's not about a chaturanga or like a headstand or anything, but yoga is an awareness of self. It is knowing yourself enough to know what's for you, what's not for you. Knowing, connecting with your intuition and having that gut instinct. So yoga as a practice helps to cultivate your connection to your gut instinct, to yourself. The second pillar that we offer here, and specifically that we focus a lot on, is inquiry. And so inquiry is taking that idea of self and going a step farther and saying, I know that I react that way. Why? Why? I know that I have this preference. Why? Inquiry is also inquiring and understanding yoga philosophy. So yoga, unlike other fitness modalities, has 5,000 years of history. It has people that have dedicated lifetimes and generations, that have built buildings, that have created communities, that have created, just like it has exploded all over the world for a reason. Yoga has so much depth. When I share about what yoga is in comparison to other modalities, because I'll have, friends that are like, well, yeah, I do Pilates. And I'm like, okay, you can do Pilates all you want. You can do 1,000 Pilates classes. You will never get from Pilates class what you get on the yoga mat. Period. That's just true. It's not a critique. You can get really strong body from Pilates. You can probably get all the benefits of working your body. You will never get the depth and the range and the self-inquiry and the growth that you will get from yoga. That's just fundamentally not possible. Not possible. Inquiry is when you have a response to something, inquiring why. Man, that person's really irritating me. Why? Well, because they keep doing this thing over and over again and I don't like it. Why? Well, because, and then there's a layer, right? Oh, because they remind me of somebody else who did this thing to me that I didn't like, and that's reminding me of that, and that's why I don't like them or what they're doing. Well, why? Right? You can keep going in. Inevitably, it comes back down to self, which is that first pillar, self. So understanding the self, super, super important for inquiry. The next one, the next pillar, is movement. So now finally in pillar 3, we're talking about movement. We're talking about the thing that you think that yoga is, right? Or that often people think that yoga is. Movement being our asana, our practice, our physical practice, like our, the whole, what you see, right? Self and inquiry are not visible. You can't see them. You can see the physical practice. You can see the plank holds. You can see the stretch. You can see all that stuff. And so, but really, in order to understand and to take in what those other two things are, you need the physicality. And so this is like the interesting juxtaposition, right? Because you can't, you can study, you can inquire, you can know yourself. You can know yourself really well without doing yoga. You can inquire a lot. You can have a lot of thought, a lot of thinking. You can spend a lot of time in your mind inquiring, studying. But you can't, it doesn't land until it gets in your body. And the more I study and understand yoga, the more true this becomes, right? Because, as we search for things, we always find ways to confirm our own bias. Anyway, but it really is true. You need a physical way of working through things in your mind. You need a physical way to work out inquiry, to work out knowledge of self. You can say, I'm a really strong person, but is that true? When you are in a squat and I say 5 more breaths, what happens? Do you stay in it? What happens in your mind when you're staying in it? What thoughts are running through your head? Are you a strong person because when you're in that squat hold, you'll hold it because you're not going to let go, right? Or are you strong because you say, my muscles are really tired right now, then I'm going to take a break? Are you strong because you take a break and then get back to it again and say, well, there's 1 more breath left. I'm just going to do it for 1 more breath, right? You understand that strength means something different when you have the understanding of self and the inquiry to support. And you have the physicality to work it out and test it in real time. And then the last piece is breath. And I put it last on purpose because you can move your body and you can understand yourself and you can study all you want. But the breath is what connects it all. Breath taking in, breath letting go, breath taking in, breath letting go. Breath is the avenue that allows change to happen. Breath is the exchange. Breath is critically important to being able to stay in your practice and to keep your mind focused and to keep inquiry happening, to keep that flow happening. It also is critical to developing a deeper connection with self and intuition. So breath is it. Without breath, and this is why I'm such a huge fan of vinyasa, even when I do other forms of yoga that require less movement. I mean, even in yin, even in restorative yoga, I'm still using breath. breath is critically important. It is necessary to feel the change and to experience and take in the practice. So I hope that gives you a better understanding of what yoga is. To me, I see yoga as the basis for life. It is like, you're a human being, and in order to understand yourself, yoga is a great fundamental way to understand yourself, regardless of what movements you do and regardless of what else you do in your life. You don't need to do anything else. You could just do yoga and you would have good health and a good status and a good mindset with yourself. You can do other forms of physical fitness, but you still want yoga to inform body awareness, brain, mind, in order to be better and to do it better. Yoga is a roadmap to, I like to say this because Ayurveda is like the sister science to yoga. So Ayurveda is the manual for how to have a human body, how to take care of it. Yoga is how to be a human. So that's not the same as like a bar class, right? And bar is how to like get really strong little muscles in your body, how to keep going when it's hard. But bar does not teach you how to inquire about your standing and how you are with other people, right? It doesn't challenge you to just stay in something without moving. It doesn't challenge you to breathe in this moment. Yoga offers you that. Yoga brings you to present moment. Yoga gives you this right here, right now. So yeah, I hope that's helpful. Feel free to watch the whole, if you popped in and saw a little bit of it, maybe watch this through again. I think that might be one of the best summaries I've ever given on what yoga is. And I think it's really important to understand that, because when you know what it is, then you can have it for yourself in a more real way, in a way that helps you and feeds you and takes care of you. So you all have an awesome day. If you have additional questions about yoga or what it is, or if you have your own ideas about what yoga is and you'd like to share it, please post below. I would love to know what you thought about yoga before you started doing it. Maybe what you think about yoga even while you're doing it. I would love to know, because to me, I'm so in it now. I don't know what people think yoga is anymore, and I'm curious about that. So post below. I'd love to know. Have an awesome day.